What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of an Italian Mafia Saga Book 1. You have successfully found Chapter 9. And this is where it gets raw and uncut, real like you've never heard before, like you will never read before because I'm the one that wrote it. Hope everybody's doing okay. Hope you all had a blessed and a wonderful, successful, and victorious day no matter what you came across. If you survived, that means you're better than what came up against you. So, nothing further, let's get on with this. Chapter 9. Thank you for support. Thank you for listening. Everybody at Harry's downtown, one love. Let's get on with it. Chapter 9. Pai Gao, Part 1. Pai Gao is a Chinese game with a name that means unaccountable. The object of Pai Gao poker is for each player to arrange their cards into two hands in such a way that they both rank higher than the banker's two hands. The 5-card hand must rank higher than the banker's 5-card hand, and the 2-card hand must rank higher than the banker's 2-card hand. Should one hand rank exactly the same as the banker's hand, it is a tie. Ties are called copies. The banker wins all copy hands. Winning hands are paid even money. Losing hands lose all money wagered. If one hand wins but the other hand loses, the result is a push or a standoff, in which case the wager is not acted upon. Friday, August 16th, 2022, Henderson High School. Miss Rochelio returned home on the 14th. She doesn't know anything about anything yet, but it will only be a matter of time. But for now, things were the same. Donovan and Heather were in the school junior parking lot while the school was emptying around them. Britt was already gone, and Heather still doesn't know her boyfriend bought an almost $300,000 Ferrari. Donovan can't tell her that yet. Ash and I are going to the library for some catch-up on a test in math. I'll take you to my place and then I'll meet Ashley back here, Heather said. The drive to Heather's house was pleasant. Damn, he doesn't even have a suit to wear out to dinner tonight. Donovan has a surprise. Heather doesn't know about that yet either. No problem at all. I'll be back in a little bit, babe, Heather said, backing out. I'll be in the bathtub, Donovan replied. Try my mom's, Heather said, then drove off. Donovan watched Heather speed off, pushing for the love of money by Bone Thugs and Harmony, revving the engine somewhere in Haddington. He closed the front door and made his way up to Heather's mom's bedroom and right into her bathroom. A nice tan-tiled inset milk-white bathtub with a separate glass-encased shower. He started the hot water, then called Britt. What, dork? Britt said, answering her phone on the second ring. I'm over at Heather's and I'm taking her out tonight. You can't show her that car, Britt interrupted. I'm not, but I need a suit, a nice one, Donovan said. Anything else? Britt replied with a smart-ass remark. 2 small guns and 2 full clips. You pick 'em. Okay, I'm on my way. Later, Donovan said, then hung up. The steam rose from the hot water as Donovan poured some of Heather's frankincense and myrrh bath soap into the water to soak in it. Donovan found his way to the fridge in this big house and opened it. He zeroed in on cold fried chicken, took a big thigh and bit into it. Cold crumbs fell to the floor as he ate it, bite by bite, then washed it down with a few good gulps of fresh orange juice. Damn, that was good. Come on, Britt, Donovan said, looking at his watch. Donovan continued to look through the fridge. He found some cooked prime rib steak in a Ziploc bag. He took it out and took down a cutting board, then pulled his knife out and sliced a good fat sliver off and took a juicy tear of meat off. He enjoyed that too much. Donovan tore off another piece and growled in enjoyment as he devoured that piece, then put the bag back and took another piece of chicken, this time a fried leg quarter, then closed the fridge at the sound of his phone ringing. Yo, Donovan said with a full mouth. Okay, that's gross. I think through all that food in your mouth, you said yo. What's the code to the gate? Britt replied. 4712. Later, Donovan said, putting his phone down to tear into the chicken. Then a car horn honked outside twice. Donovan came out the front gate and met Britt to receive a nice suit in a plastic bag. You'll have so much respect for the suit, Britt said. Which one is it? Donovan asked. Your dad wore this to his second capital murder trial verdict, which he won, obviously. But that was the trial your dad was facing life for 7 counts of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, loan sharking, racketeering, obstruction of justice, illegal gambling, and tax evasion. I'll bring the rest inside. Britt came in behind Donovan with a small black leather Louis Vuitton purse she doesn't use anymore and a double sidearm gun holster belt. Here, both guns will fit and be unnoticeable under the coat, Britt said, handing Donovan the belt. What kind you choose? Donovan asked. Britt pulled out 2 Kimber R7 Makos from the black purse and handed them both to Donovan, with 2 8-round clips and 2 replacements. Nice choice. Where'd that belt come from? Donovan asked. It's Mom's. Later, dork. Donovan headed back upstairs to the steaming bathtub, put everything on the seat counter, both guns in the white bag with the other accessories, under his clothes as he had taken them off. It was now slipped down into the soapy, fragrant water. The boss of all bosses was actually at home on the morning that the son of Bricks Lovato delivered a bomb to former Denisi crime family capo, Dino Calabrese, who went AWOL after the first attempt on Bricks' life after Bricks was just chosen by Denisi and placed in power as Denisi's underboss. Dino Calabrese had plans and Bricks got in the way. 22 years later, Denisi is on the phone trying to figure out who ordered that hit on Calabrese, who was in Oahu 8 years ago. The boss knew where Calabrese was and that he was involved with 2 others, and that they orchestrated the assassination attempt on Denisi's underboss together. Out in the desert, 4 miles west in the middle of nowhere, an armored dark blue Bentley Bentayga and an armored gray-on-black Chevy Tahoe were parked alone. And the Denisi crime family capo and the soldiers of his house were there. Giorgio, Mickey, Leo, Enrico, Giuseppe, and those 2 over there. Get them both out of the trunk, Denisi said, puffing on a big cigar. Enrico and Leo dragged the garbage bags from the trunk of the Tahoe to the open ground. The men inside the bags knew they were going to die for their treachery 22 years ago. Denisi didn't order that murder, nor did he know who did. But he knew the reasons behind it, except the person who delivered it. There were no surveillance videos at all for the media to air because the FBI took all the evidence into safekeeping right after the murder, when the FBI took over the case. So you think she got away with it, eh, Tony? Val Torres said, then kicked the bag hard, making Fat Tony shout in pain. You know what you did, Salarizo. Tried to do. To Bricks, after everything he did for you? Hey, Tony, Leo said. Fuck you and the fucking whore who fed you with her boobs, you no good lying motherfucker. Leo began to violently assault Tony Salarizo for his treachery against the Denisi organized crime family, one hard slug after another. Tony was screaming bloody murder as each violent and deadly blow from the oak Louisville slugger brought him closer to his grave. Louis Cellini was screaming through the tape that kept his mouth hidden from sight as he heard all the muffled screams and wails from Tony being beaten to death for what they did together. Basta, Denisi said, which means enough in Italian, and the violent beating stopped. But Tony's bag was silent. Open both bags and get this done. Luciano tore both garbage bags open, bringing both Denisi crime family soldiers out into the midday sunlight. Louis could see that they were out in the desert. There were mountainous terrains and cacti and desert everywhere. Both men were bound and gagged. And Louis watched as Enrico and Giorgiano both approached them with Remington 870 12-gauge shotguns. Enrico cocked the loader, aimed the barrel right at Tony's left shoulder socket, then pulled the trigger from a foot away. Salarizo screamed for his life as his entire left arm slumped from the bleeding shoulder cavity to the ground. Enrico cocked the 12 gauge again and pulled the trigger. Tony screamed again from the slug that tore through his left kneecap, blowing his leg completely in two. The kneecap was gone, blown to pieces by a round from a 12 gauge. The cries and screams from the pain were no reason for leniency after you betrayed the Mafia by breaking the code. Mickey Spicola grabbed a full-sized putter from the trunk and proceeded to violently beat the dog shit out of Cellini as he crumpled defenselessly from each blow. 14 seconds later, Cellini was bleeding from his head with broken bones all up and down the length of him. The blood everywhere looked like what it's supposed to be today. A murder scene. Giorgiano loaded his 12 gauge, aimed it, and blew Cellini's right ear clean off his head, then aimed again and blew Cellini's left hand off at the wrist as he screamed for his life. Blood spilled everywhere, but the boss said to get it done. Enrico and Giorgiano aimed the guns and fired one round straight into the nose of the traitors, killing them both instantly and making their faces forever unidentifiable, then rolled both bodies into a deep hole, filled it with earth, and left. It was 7 p.m. by the time Heather got home and Ashley was here. Donovan was here somewhere. Ashley went upstairs to use the bathroom, thinking Donovan might be alone up there. Heather was making something to eat. Ashley had instinct and smarts. The best bathroom is the master bedroom. She looked down the stairs, hearing Heather down in the kitchen with her playlist playing Evanescence, then headed into Miss Cowson's bedroom and crept to the bathroom and opened it slowly. There was Donovan's clothes on the counter, and she saw him in the bathtub by his reflection. Ashley came in and closed the door. Donovan was clearly asleep and relaxed in that fragrant water that hit her in the face as she walked in. His head was rested against the back of the tub, and all of him was underwater, veiled by a thick layer of bubbles that blocked her view like a 90s scrambled pay-per-view adult movie. Lust filled her heart as she licked her bottom lip slightly at the thought. What made it hotter was the fact that this is her best friend's boyfriend. A little get-backs don't hurt. Heather chose this murderer over her the other night. Ashley reached her right hand slowly into the water. Then before she could scream, her wrist was grabbed tightly, quickly, and she was twisted. Donovan rose onto his feet and kneeled with Ashley's right arm and wrist in a lock. And now she was fighting not to scream as her face was held just above the surface. Donovan was naked and soapy, dripping all over Ashley's face, but he didn't give a fuck. I don't know what you're thinking or how much time we've got left till me and you get caught like this. Ashley, you done yet? Heather called from downstairs in the kitchen. What the fuck are you doing in here? Donovan asked, looking into terror-filled eyes. I just wanted to grab your dick, Ashley replied, looking at the water and death at the same time. Why? To get back at your best friend for moving on with her life when you walked away and she needed you the most? You killed someone, Ashley said. You're right, I did. But I'm not coming between you two and your friendship, but let her choose who she dates, Donovan said. Ashley, where are you? Heather called, coming upstairs. I don't want any beef. I just want a chance to explain to you tonight. I'm taking her to Carlito's tonight. You can go. Just act like you don't know, and then if you want to call the FBI, give me a day's head start. Okay, just let me go. I promise I'll listen, Ashley said. Then Donovan released her, laying back down in the water. Heather came in a couple minutes later, then kneeled behind her boyfriend and began to massage his temples. Donovan softly breathed and looked back at his girlfriend. Ashley said she had to go really quickly, but she'll be back. I guess she hurt her right arm or something. That's strange. You're strange, Donovan said with humor in his tone. Me? How am I strange? Heather said, picking up on his humor. I don't know yet. Donovan stood up with soap running all down his body right in front of Heather, stepped out of the tub and softly laid a fire-hot kiss on her that ignited her body right then, and then he pulled away. We're going to Carlito's tonight. I'm taking you out, Donovan said. Seriously? That's a nice place, Heather said, then headed toward the door. Ashley can come too. I guess I'll go get ready. Donovan got dried off and sported in the mirror as he put on every piece of that $11,500 midnight blue men's double-breasted gangster pinstripe shiny shark skin Brunico suit. Donovan looked like the deceased Mafia underboss as he slipped on the double-holstered strap, loaded and slipped both guns into the holsters underneath his arms, then slipped on the coat. He looked at himself in the mirror doing a 360, oh yeah. Heather was dressing in one of her sexiest outfits, a turquoise, cold-shoulder, laser-cut body stocking dress, 6-inch heel lace-up white over-the-knee boots, and she was ready. And her blonde hair was styled like a Pantene model, waves and shine. You look so fucking good, Heather. I just want to nail you to the wall and eat your pussy till you scream, Donovan said in Italian. And Heather turned around. I've got no idea what you just said, but thank you, sweetie. You look like a Capone gang mobster in that suit, Heather said, then laughed. It looks so good on you. Heather looked at Donovan and saw something, but she couldn't see it. She studied the look on his face for what felt like a million eons, but it was only a breath's worth of time. What are you trying to tell me, Donovan? Heather looked at her boyfriend in that midnight blue suit. He emanated bad boy Italian baller. But he put his hands together in front of his face, then dropped his arms. Dollface, I love you. I wanted to tell you the first time I met eyes with you, but I'm telling you now, I love you. She studied Donovan's face, looking for a hint of deception, but she found none. He meant that. I love you too, Donovan, Heather said, then rushed to his lips. Once again, his scorching hot kisses ignited the deepest sexual fires within her. Then her phone began to play Survivor by Beyonce, and she pulled away. It's Ash, Heather said, then took the call. Ash, what's up? I'm outside, Ashley replied. Parking, get out. You're going with us tonight. Donovan's taking me to Carlito's. I'm game, girl, Ashley said, and a couple of breaths later, the front door opened. Ashley stood by her sleek black 2022 Corvette Stingray with two pink racing stripes up the center, sitting on Matar gloss black Asante racing rims. She was dressed and ready to kill. A tight neon yellow long sleeve crochet mini dress that you could see the white lace bra and G-string thong wrapped around Ashley's sexy form, and a pair of neon yellow 6-inch heel crisscross strap sandal shoes adorned her feet. Donovan would be escorting two beautiful ladies out to Carlito's tonight, 5675 West Sahara Avenue. The place wasn't very big, but it was a real Mafia social club. The owners were pure Italians that wanted to give their restaurant an Italian mob life theme. The food is the finest Italian cuisine. The live music and the look of this place gave it a 30s and 40s Mafia club look. Donovan pulled in and the three of them went inside to a nice quiet crowd. It was 8:42 p.m. by the time the three of them ordered and began to eat. They enjoyed their Italian cuisine, and Donovan took the time to explain to Heather's best friend everything, what he learned from Denise and what happened the other morning. Ashley listened and really tried to understand what the new guy at school was trusting her enough to share his life with her. Donovan's cell phone rang, and he answered it on the third ring. Hello? Donovan asked. Donnie, it's Denise. How are yous? I'm doing fine. The three of us are out having dinner. Come to the Bellagio now. I've got some work for you to do. I'm on my way. What room are you in? Donovan asked. Don't ever ask me that again. Tell the man in the desk in the dark blue suit, Portami da Denise, which means take me to Denise in Italian, and he'll bring you up. Come alone. Babe, what's up? Heather asked, standing up as Donovan ended the call. We're going to the Bellagio, Donovan said, slipping his phone away. The night of Friday, August 19th, 2022. The Mustang sped its way south on the strip. Donovan replayed those words. I've got some work for you. What was he bringing his girlfriend and her best friend into? Traffic on the strip was moving along. Donovan passed vehicles in a hurry to get to the Bellagio Hotel. Ashley and Heather were in a conversation while he drove well above the speed limit. He knew he shouldn't be bringing them. The fountain outside the Bellagio Hotel sprayed and synced to the Wayne Newton oldies. The valet parking attendants were busy when Donovan pulled up in the Mustang and the three of them got out. "Who are we here to see, babe?" Heather asked, but got no reply. Donovan led both women to the front desk. There was a man in a blue suit. "Excuse me, Portami da Denisi," Donovan said, remembering the Prime Minister's every word. "Follow me," the gentleman said, then came out a door and took them to an elevator, then took them up another way, to a fountain view suite at the top of the hotel. "You two wait here. I won't tell Denisi you're here. Just be quiet," the desk rep said, then disappeared around the corner with Donovan alone. A door to the left opened, and there stood the boss of the Denisi organized crime family, Max Denisi. The man served under Carlo Gambino and formed his own family after Castellano was murdered in '85 in New York City. It's as if this man breathes through the spirit of a young Carlo Gambino. Donovan Jean-Pierre Lovato stood there outside the boss's hotel suite, eye to eye, looking the man over, meeting for the second time. Red silk bathrobe, a cigar, and white slippers. "Come on in, son," Denisi said, then went back inside. Donovan followed and closed the door behind him. He followed Denisi into a large crystal glass designed living room and bar room area. This must be for ballers, since this was a palace. "So, Donnie, I've got an errand I need you to run. Do you want to go?" Denisi asked, turning around to look at the son of Bricks Lovato with his muscular 6'4", 249-pound stature, with a face just like his old man, Denisi's deceased underboss. "Depends. What's the job?" Donovan said, never once breaking eye contact. Denisi sighed, then took a step up and headed to the fountain view balcony. Donovan, a long time ago in ancient China, around the year 618, the Tang dynasty was founded by Li Yuan, a military commander who proclaimed himself emperor after suppressing a coup staged by the attendants turned assassins of the Sui Empire. Yang Di, when he reigned only 4 years to 614. While Gaozu, Li Yuan's reign name, was the first of the Tang emperors, it was under his son Taizong, reigned in 624 to 649, that the Tang dynasty consolidated its power and began to achieve a domestic peace that would last for virtually unbroken for 3 centuries, interrupted only by the 9-year-long An Lushan rebellion. "What was the rebellion over?" Donovan asked, liking Chinese history, being an 11-year student in Wushu and Wing Chun Kung Fu. "I want you to go to the Excess nightclub over at the Encore. Go to the VIP area, and you'll be taken to meet a man by the name of Ki Chung. You'll give him this," Denisi said, then handed Donovan a kilo of 100% pure Molly. "That's pure MDMA. He's going to give you exactly $45,851 in cash for that 35.27 ounces you got there. And 3 rare diamonds. When you get the diamonds, leave or you are a dead man." Donovan got up and took a walk to look out over the balcony. It was a beautiful night with the purples and oranges fading into the red in the sky above them, with the strip below. "You're telling me there's a chance I'm going to get whacked?" Donovan asked in his natural smooth tone, seriously concerned. "No, I'm telling you that if you stick around after Key gives you the diamonds, you're dead." Denisi stepped to Lovato's side and exhaled a puff into the night air as they looked out across Vegas. "You're not your dad. I'm not telling you who to be, son. I'm telling you to do what you need to do," Denisi said. "I'm going to do it," Donovan replied, then took the package from Denisi and headed to the door. "You're not going alone," Denisi said, and then Donovan heard the sound of heels against the floor, coming in their direction. "Christina's going with you. You'll need backup." Sorpresa, sorpresa, mi amor," Christina said, stepping into the light. The Sinaloan cartel daughter stood there in a red vinyl stretch gloss micro mini dress that shaped her features like an Aztec queen, and a pair of matching 6-inch vinyl lace-up knee boots with a side zipper, clutching a nice matching red Versace La Medusa tote bag. What's she supposed to do? Donovan asked, smirking in a scornful manner. I'll have your back, puppy, Christina replied in a badass, sexy rebel tone. Come back alive, Donnie, Denise said with a dark but unmistakably straight face. Hey, where are Tony and Louie? Donovan asked, just realizing they were absent. Donnie, one more thing, Denise said, then approached both kids, keeping his eyes on Lovato's choice of suits tonight. That suit was worn by Brooks Lovato to a capital murder verdict, and Denise knew it. But why is Donovan wearing it? Where'd it come from? That's a nice suit. Where'd you get it? Never mind. Just go, Denise said. The boss knows now, but he would deal with that matter later. Donovan closed the door, and there were Ashley and Heather waiting around the corner from the suite. He couldn't fathom that he was about to do a job for the Mafia that he clearly understands could get him killed. Christina? Heather asked, stunned and subtly suspicious, recognizing the girl from school as she came out, apparently escorting Heather's boyfriend somewhere. What the hell is she doing? No es tu puto negocio, Christina replied, sliding up next to Donovan with a Michelle Pfeiffer catgirl smile. We're not doing this right now. Got an errand to run, Donovan said as the four of them hurried to an elevator. Wait, we talked about this, Donovan, Heather replied, and Donovan stopped in his tracks to look at his girlfriend with firm gray eyes. You and Ash will stay here. While you take the fuck off of my car and go do God knows what, fuck that, babe. We're going, Heather said. Then they followed her out to the Mustang. But when this is over, it's me and you, babe. Donovan drove them all like a smooth criminal north on Las Vegas Boulevard, headed towards the Wynn and the Encore, to the Excess nightclub. You're not getting in there, Heather said, curious about what was about to happen. Christine and I both are going in there, Donovan replied, speeding through traffic. The Mustang pulled up into the self-parking at the Wynn Hotel and they got out with Bolivar, leaving both ladies in the car. They were stopped outside the club by two security bouncers in nice suits. The Purple and Globe low-lit nightclub was more of a social lounge hangout, with club music playing as hundreds of people lived the night away. We need to see Ki Chung, Christina said calmly, but with a look that meant business. He knows we're coming. Wait here, a bouncer said and headed off into the club. Christina was out with the son of Brooks Lovato, doing a Mafia job, with him on his first Mafia job. Such a thought was beyond inconceivable for the both of them. Both of them were armed, and both of them were out on the orders of an active New York City-bred and active Mafia boss. She glanced briefly at Lovato as he stood there coolly in that expensive midnight blue gangster zoot suit. He looked hard, just like his dad. The bouncer returned. Follow me, the bouncer said. Both teens were escorted through this populated and energetic nightclub as the people danced and drank, socialized the night away with no idea who was around them nor what's going on. Donovan noticed a young Chinese couple in a secluded section with two 12-foot L couches under dark orange lighting. The couple had an ice bucket and bottles of expensive champagne as if they were celebrities. The bouncer approached the young shaved-headed Chinese man, whispered something in his ear, then left them all alone. Denise sent you? The Chinese man asked in disbelief that there was what appeared to be a teenager here in his VIP section, claiming that the Prime Minister of the Italian Mafia sent him and never spoke a word. If there's a problem with that, Donovan said, then leaned forward. There's no problem at all, the man said, then leaned his head to the right. Who the fuck does this kid think he is? He said in traditional Chinese. This asshole just came in here and spoke to you in your face like he's running something. I would leave this little bitch comatose. He clearly doesn't know who we are, the Chinese woman replied in traditional Chinese, and they both laughed, then returned to their company. Donovan stopped a passing server. Can I please have an Incredible Hulk? This is going to be a while, I see, Donovan said, then turned to Christina. You want something to drink too? Cuervo and cherry coke, Christina said, with her usual come fuck me smile. Be right back, sir, the server said. So how's about we start this thing off, Donovan said, then looked around him both ways as he leaned in. It don't matter who the fuck I am or who you think I am. You got some money for Denise and I got a little something for you. 1 key of pure methylene dioxymethamphetamine. Christina took the tightly wrapped kilo of pure MDMA in the form of clear crystals out of her purse and handed it smoothly across the table to the gentleman in a nice black and dark red thin pinstripe shark skin zoot suit, looking as Chinese gangster could be, with a girlfriend that was dressed so sexy she gave off a very deadly aura like she could kill you in less than 7 seconds. So Denise tells me that you're the son of Antonio Bricks Lovato, the man said. Denise's got a big mouth, Donovan replied. Oh, I agree with you, but I found that very interesting to say the least. A little boy thought to have been dead for the last 10 years. Your old man was the most original motherfucker I ever saw. Should I thank you or kill you? Donovan said, then laughed, turning to Christina. He knows who I am, but I still don't know who he is, or who I am for that matter. I'm Ki Chung, the Chinese guy said, then paused because the server returned with a tray and 2 drinks, which he quickly delivered and left. I'm Ki Chung, and it is an honor to meet you, Mr. Lovato. Likewise, mio amico, Donovan said, giving Chung the dope and receiving the money from him in a large folded-up gold envelope, tucking it inside his coat in a pocket. All 3 people watched as Ki Chung removed a small velvet purple bag from a pocket inside his coat. It was the size of his palm. What I'm giving you, you must guard with your life and never let the enemies of my family have them, Ki said, then tossed Donovan the bag, which he tucked away, then stood up to leave. Christina knew it was time to go as she looked around, rising to her feet. The club was packed with clubbers dancing out on the full-to-capacity dance floor as the DJ continued to spin hard techno. Donovan looked around, and through the crowd he saw 5 men in black suits, all Chinese men. Shit. Come on, Donovan said, grabbing Christina by the wrist and ducked off with her through the crowd. Ki Chung looked at his girlfriend as she looked back at him through eyes of spite. Something was very wrong. This woman, Kinsey Shawan, has been his girlfriend for 8 months. What's wrong? Ki asked. You know why I had to get the diamonds away from me. They're part of your family's history, the woman replied, then pulled the trigger twice. Ki breathed in sharply as 2 silenced rounds from a suppressed 6-hour P365 tore through his right side, through his guts, and through his left lung. Nobody in the club heard the shots. Now so am I, the woman said, looking into Ki's dying eyes. My name is Xiana Wang, descendant of Emperor Li Yuan and the royal Duye clan, and I've come for my family's diamonds. That was the last thing Ki Chung heard. Xiana knew where the diamonds were, and it was time to rule China once again. Donovan and Christina moved stealthily through the hundreds of people, past some couches, and crouched down in a couch section on the opposite side of this nightclub. They knew they didn't have much time. Donovan looked around and did a double take, meeting eyes with a 41-year-old Paris Hilton and her husband, Carter Room. Christina, Donovan said, and she looked. So what? It's Paris Hilton, Christina said, and looked away. I'm Donovan Lovato, and we're hiding from Chinese gangsters right now, so you might want to leave. Both of you, vamonos. They're coming, Christina said, and the celebrity couple hurried out of their section as Donovan and Christina made a go for it. Gunshots rang out. Donovan turned his head to lock eyes with another Chinese gangster headed in his direction. He turned his body as he pulled out both guns, then fired 9 shots between both guns as he walked toward the gangster, hitting him 9 times in the chest. Christina headed towards the door with Donovan until he was grabbed up in a bear hug by a huge Chinese guard. Donovan smashed the guard's nose with a downward strike using the butt of both guns, punched him in the throat hard enough to make the guy let him go. The guard screamed and gagged, reaching for his smashed nasal cavity and releasing Donovan. Then Donovan jumped, did a perfect 360 turn, and kicked the guy across the right side of the face, knocking the guard backwards. One of the Chinese guards came right through the oncoming crowd, and at the same time, Christina saw him and began to pull her gun from her purse. Donovan kicked the guy in the mouth with a fast right side kick, knocking him backwards. Then Christina fired the chrome 686 357 Magnum 4 times, blasting the thug in the center of the chest right there in the flow of people. "Come on," Donovan said, heading out of the club with Christina. Heather and Ashley were watching as people hurried out of the club. The cops would be here in a second. "There's Donovan and Christina," Ashley said. Police sirens began wailing in the near distance. Donovan hopped over the door into the driver's seat and started the beast up. "What the fuck, Donovan?" Heather said in an angry raised tone as the car took off with Ashley and Christina holding onto the back seat. There were 4 Chinese men and 1 Chinese woman watching the Mustang speed past with Lovato driving. They saw Lovato, but he didn't see them come out. All 3 of those Chinese triad members ran to a 3 set of black on chrome 2022 Hayabusas, cocked their black Intratec Tech 9s, then ran down that Mustang Lovato drove off in. "We're not doing this right now," Donovan said, speeding onto the strip, interrupting traffic. Donovan sped his way through the traffic on Las Vegas Boulevard, trying to turn around and get back to the Bellagio with the diamonds alive. "What the fuck's going on?" Ashley began, then heard the sound of street bikes coming. "Son of a bitch, they're coming," Donovan said in Italian, then translated out loud, looking at Heather and Ashley. "Get down on the seat, both of you." Christina pushed Ashley's head down. Heather watched as Christina pulled the chrome 357 Magnum and smoothly shot the rider 2 times in the helmet, knocking the rider off the bike. Donovan watched for a half breath out of the corner of his eye as Heather got down on the floor of the seat to hide. This was real, and she knew it. A bike sped up and fired 12 rounds, just missing the Mustang, as Donovan spun the car into the southbound traffic and sped south on Las Vegas Boulevard. 2 more Hayabusas were coming fast. Donovan saw them both in the mirrors. "Hurry up and feed that thing some steel, will you?" Donovan said to Christine as she reloaded her 357 as the bikes rolled up loudly. Donovan pulled the right holstered gun, turned with his left arm, and fired 3 rounds, but missed and hit the bike's gas tank because he swerved to avoid hitting a nice BMW. The gangster fired 10 rounds just as Donovan ducked, blowing off the driver's side mirror and penetrating the windshield all the way across. Christina turned and leaned against the back of the front seat passenger seat, then blew 2 rounds right into the gangster's neck, knocking him off and into oncoming traffic. "Dollface, you just lost a mirror," Donovan said after the gunfire ceased. "What the fuck?" Heather said as she began to move, but Donovan pushed her back down. The last one rode up and opened fire, shooting Donovan once right through the meat of his left shoulder as he sped and swerved, passing the Treasure Island Hotel. Blood splotched all over the windshield and the dashboard. Donovan passed a sleek black Maserati and cut the bike off as the gangster opened fire on the hood over the back window. The Tech 9 sounded again as bullets riddled the ass of the Mustang, shooting out both taillights. Christina fired her last round and shot the rider in the side of the neck. The rider felt his blood and tumbled off the bike as they sped away. "I think we're safe," Christina said, and they both sat up. "What the fuck happened to my wint? Is that blood?" Heather said, then touched the blood. "Whose blood is this all over my dashboard?" "It's mine, Dollface," Donovan said, turning into the Bellagio property. "Oh my God, you were shot?" Heather asked and looked for a wound. "My left shoulder. Come on, all of yous." Donovan bled the entire way up to Denise's condo, with now only 2 women. Christina disappeared somewhere between here and the car. She had been a down-ass Sinaloan cartel gangster and had gone to war with him. Lovato never even got to say thank you. The Denisi suite door opened and in came Donovan with two women stepping into the sight. Who the hell are they? Denisi asked, looking out the door once again before closing it. I'm sorry, mister, but he's been shot, so I'm not being rude, Heather said. Ashley, go find a first aid kit. Shot? That's good, Denisi said. Now those two triads will get another shot to recover their family heirlooms. There's nothing good about my boyfriend getting shot by Chinese gangsters. What family heirlooms are you talking about? Heather asked. Denisi. Max Denisi. He introduced himself. Donovan took the coat off and Heather did her best not to flip over, seeing two black guns holstered at his sides. He slipped the entire belt off and the shirt. Heather covered her mouth to keep from throwing up over the side of the bullet wound in Donovan's left shoulder. It was meaty and bloody, but a nice dime-sized hole, and it looked gross. Here, Heather, I found this in the bathroom, Ashley replied, then covered her mouth from being grossed out by the sight of the bullet wound. So, Donnie, Denisi said as he approached a caring girlfriend, let me tell you why you were shot at by Chinese gangsters tonight. In the year 618, during the Tang Dynasty of China, when Li Yuan reigned in the Forbidden City in Beijing, he fell in love with a woman from a very poor family. Her name was Pao Ling Chung. Denisi took a seat on the couch, puffing on his cigar. But Pao was in love with another man, a soldier of the Yuan kingdom named Wan Xintao. The emperor agreed to take care of Chung's family financially in exchange for her hand in marriage. So you see, she didn't marry because she loved him, Denisi explained. Heather poured the alcohol on Donovan's wound that had an exit wound, which is good. She was trying to listen to Denisi and bandage Donovan at the same time. On the night before the grand wedding, which would be the next morning in the presence of the emperor's family going back 4 generations, and Chung's family, Pao was caught having sex in the emperor's chambers with Wan Qintao by 4 other guards. The emperor was notified immediately, and then the next morning, instead of a wedding only, there was a public execution. Wan Qintao was beheaded by a guard in front of all the guests and the servants by the order of Emperor Yuan. Then Pao and the emperor were properly married, Denisi explained. What about these diamonds? Donovan asked. Heather finished dressing up his wound. Those 3 diamonds were a wedding gift to Pao from the emperor himself, which he'd given her on that night, Denisi explained. Ash, in my coat there's a purple bag. Please get it, Donovan said. The small blue diamond was the ocean. Yuan said his love was vast like an ocean. And that, oh my God, Ashley said, looking at the 3 golf ball-sized jewels in the palm of her hand. Heather, look at these. The red one's the emperor's heart, meaning that all his love was for her. And the clear diamond with the red diamond in the center means that Pao was the sole reason for his existence. But these 3 jewels were a gift to the emperor's new wife. After the jewels were given to Chung, Li Yuan brings 2 small glasses of a drink, one of which was said to be mixed with what legend says was the venom of a dragon. But Chung drank her glass and the emperor stood there and watched her suffocate and die. Emperor Yuan disappeared with the diamonds only to be murdered a week later, and the diamonds disappeared, Denisi explained. Heather and Ashley looked at the small but very ancient jewels. They really belonged to 2 ancient families that were willing to kill over them. And the Chinese gangsters that tried to kill me tonight? Donovan asked. An ancient clan that became a notorious triad called Venom. The triad that descended from Pao Chung's is called Dragon's Blood. And they'll both never stop killing until one family or the other has the diamonds, Denisi said. What the fuck am I supposed to do with these jewels? Donovan asked. Keep them away from the Venom triad. If you have to bury those jewels at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, then do it. Just don't let Venom get them, Denisi said. Donovan stood in Heather's bathroom for what seemed like ages as he stared at the bullet wound in his left shoulder. That could have been his head, or worse. The pain ignited upon the slightest touch. He winced as he touched the bullet hole in the meat. Heather was still very much afraid for their lives after tonight. The gangsters with Tech 9s on Hayabusas, opening fire on them on Las Vegas Boulevard. Christina blowing holes through gangsters with a 357 Magnum. The blood and bullet holes all in her car. And the bullet hole in her boyfriend's left shoulder. Heather didn't know what to think. She watched from her bedroom as Donovan came out of the bathroom, her bathroom, and nothing but the black towel she placed in there for him to take a shower. And there he was, coming toward her in her darkened, candlelit, and scented bedroom. His body drove her crazy. The meat lines and those chiseled washboard abs, all of him was making her heart pound as he approached, wounded from war and smelling so good. I need to dress your wound, Heather said in a soft tone. Then she clung to Donovan as tears streamed from her eyes. All right, there's my spot. Give me just a minute. I'm sorry, you all. Donovan held her with a loving, protective embrace. Tonight was just what it was, a rendezvous with death itself. I thought I was going to lose you tonight, Heather said through angry, love-filled eyes. Don't you ever scare me like that again. I'm sorry, Dollface. Donovan left the room in that towel, went down to his room, and retrieved a few things. The other day when he was out, the thought was on his mind because Heather was on his mind. Heather remained on her knees on the bed, waiting for her boyfriend to return with whatever he had going on. Heather watched him come back to the bedroom with a small image of the Virgin Mary, a lighter, and his knife. What are you doing, babe? Heather asked. We are having a special ceremony between you and I as a couple in love, Donovan replied as he picked up the knife and looked at his girlfriend. Donovan slowly pressed the edge of the knife to his thumb, drew blood, and placed 2 drops on the head of the small statue. Heather watched the blood trail down the Virgin's face. Then Donovan grabbed the lighter to light the image. Wait, can I do it too? Because I love you. Heather took the large chrome knife, drew blood from her thumb, wincing at the sting of the blade as she cut her thumb, then put 2 drops on the head of the image, her blood trailing and mixing with her boyfriend's. In the Mafia, family members were made to take an oath of secrecy, vowing never to betray the family. We are taking a vow to love each other, Donovan said. But this is how people were made into families? Heather asked, curious. Yeah, this is how they were inducted into a crime family, Heather Lovato, Donovan said, then had her attention as he lit the image. I vow to love you, to honor you, and to protect you as long as I live. I vow to always be loyal to you and to give my life for you, Dollface. I, Heather Marie Cowson, do vow to honor you, and to keep your secrets what they are, part of us, and I vow to love you with all that I am. Donovan lit the image. They both watched the image dissolve and burn away into ash, sealing their bond to each other. The thin black ribbon strapped lace see-through camise that Heather wore for her boyfriend finally grabbed his attention. They interlaced hands, never once breaking eye contact as Heather walked backwards, slowly, toward her bed. Her heart wanted her boyfriend's words. Her body wanted him. The straps fell off Heather's shoulders as Donovan slowly backed her up against one of the posts of her 4-poster canopy bed. She met his scorching hot lips with no procrastination between either of them, with a hungry, sex-fueled kiss of her own. Heather pressed against his mouth as they met again with a fiery passion mixed with a deepening thirst for each other. In Greek mythology, Tantalus, was sentenced to an eternity in the underworld in a pool of water with nothing but a bow of grapes above his head and a pure water level at his waist. Whenever he would stretch his neck to grab a grape with his mouth, the bush would move out of his reach, and the cold water would lower when he went for a drink. Such was the insatiable eternity, and such was the insatiable hunger for each other, as Donovan slowly pushed deep inside Heather. She arched her back, closing her eyes as she clutched Donovan's solid shoulders deeply like eagle talons, piercing the flesh to hold on. The fiery tongue kisses against her throat, her breasts, her abs, his breath against her skin, his tongue inside her, rubbing her, igniting a fire within her clit that lit her body like an inferno. The rhythmic love making with Donovan on top of her, pinning her arms to the bed. Heather listened to her boyfriend's breaths as she rode him with all her strength, bent back, arms above her head as she rocked her hips back and forth against his upward thrust with all her energy. And then she clenched her fists and moaned breathlessly as she climaxed. Donovan's hands grasped Heather's waist, and he pushed upward, bending his head back and groaning hard as he burst, filling the condom he slipped on as they lost themselves in the fires of passion. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening to Chapter 9. Thank you all for your support. One love. I'm out.